watch. What they're going to do after this is they're going to continue on the same path they always continue upon, which is more guns, more accessible all the time. In Oklahoma, where we live, they have vending machines with ammo in them in 7-Elevens and other type convenience stores.
On September 10th, 2025, Charlie Kirk was shot. On that same day, another very horrific incident happened. But unfortunately, due to the low celebrity level of these unfortunate victims, we have found very little coverage of what happened to them. The truth is, if the media is being honest, these two incidents are extremely linked together more than we would like to accept it. But don't worry, don't take my word for it. After this video, you can tell me in the comment section if you think these two events are linked or not. But right now, before we start, let me know in the comment section if you've heard of any other incident that happened on the same day Charlie Kirk was murdered, or this is your first time. And if you've heard about it, what did you know? There was another shooting at Evergreen High School in Colorado. A 16-year-old student injured two classmates before sadly taking his own life. The shooter was a 16-year-old named Desmond Holly. America has a problem and they need to address it fast and soon. The teenager who opened fire at his classmates before shooting himself was radicalized online, according to authorities. Police began receiving 911 calls about an active shooting inside the halls of Evergreen High School around 12:30 p.m. Wednesday, lunchtime for many of the students. In the minutes that followed, Holly, who had ridden the bus to the school that morning, fired multiple rounds in multiple places, both inside and outside the school, shooting two students before turning the gun on himself. He died later at the hospital on Wednesday night. Authorities have identified the teen shooter as 16-year-old Desmond Holly. He had to keep reloading. He would fire and reload, fire and reload, fire and reload. This went on, and as he did that, he tried to find a new target and he came up against a roadblock on many of those doors. He couldn't get to the kids, so there's not enough to be said for the work that the teachers and the coaches, the staff, the students, said Jefferson County Sheriff's Officer Jackie Kelly. Lots of students ran, but the ones who didn't were locked down and they were being cared for. So really, really proud of those people. I have to believe when you bring a gun to school and you continue to fire and reload that you were on a mission. We are grateful that he was less successful, but we are also devastated that he was successful at all. That's what Jackie Kelly, the Jefferson County Sheriff, said. The two victims were sent to St. Anthony's Hospital. One is in crucial condition and neither have been released from the hospital. One of the victims is an 18-year-old called Matthew Silverstone, and his family put out a statement saying the family appreciates the community's concern and support, but as we remain focused on our loved one's recovery, we respectfully request privacy as we continue to heal and navigate the road ahead. And for the privacy of this very boy, even though I have his pictures all over, I would prefer not to have his pictures in this video so he can enjoy some of the privacy he still has left, because this was a devastatingly sad situation to have happened to kids of this age. After Holly began firing, many students fled the school. Some ran into the nearby neighborhood where they knocked on the homes asking for shelter. Others stayed in the school where faculty and staff followed lockdown procedures, hiding in classrooms and barricading doors. It is so sad that in schools, children have to learn lockdown procedures for when there is someone who suddenly shows up in school with a passion to unalive their classmates or schoolmates. I remember in our good old days, we used to go to school. All we were worried about is learning how to read, write. The most we were worried about is somebody we liked in school and they don't like us, or somebody who was just being a stupid bully. But you know, bullies were just bullies. They were just people who were just throwing pranks on you. Today we now have people who walk into school campuses, teenagers with whole weaponry, loading, firing, loading and firing all over again. It's unbelievable. It's just difficult to fathom where America is. If you check all over Africa, I'm not sure you ever find one incident like this. You will not find it. You will not find it. If you have one, let me know in the comment section. You will not find it. In Europe, incidents like this would be very rare. Yes, UK is coming up on crazy things. Like it's not long ago we had an incident there. But generally Europe, it's very rare to hear of things like this. The core Europe. I'm not talking of UK. UK has its own beast they are dealing with. They have a little link to the US shenanigans and charades to a certain extent. I don't know why. Maybe it's because the cultures have become a little too merged. They have been interloped and intertwined for a little too long. And now the UK is picking up on some of the bad behaviors from the US. Because it is just in the US where you will find such decadence. Children are in school and they don't have to worry only about a bully who will snatch their apple from them, or that they will not pass properly, or they're teenagers as they are, that they will fall in love with a boy or a girl who will not like them, as teenagers have crushes. But then imagine you're in a world where teenagers have to worry about one of their own walking into school with weaponry ready to unalive them. It used to be that when you see one of your classmates who we used to call just acting weird and strange, it was because they were too intelligent, so they did not know how to socialize. That was usually the case because this geeks and geniuses, they just don't, they have little or no social skills. They're not good at it. And that was usually the case. Okay, yeah, it's very strange. What's wrong with Matthew? What's wrong with Jennifer? I think she is strange. Yeah, he is strange, right? That is usually the conversation. It is unbelievable that we have teenagers in school these days who have to worry about maybe the strangeness of their classmate, their schoolmate, is due to that maybe one day they might feel like walking into school with armor and deleting a couple of students, causing chaos. The funny thing is that this is one of those schools in Colorado where enrollment has really been down for a while. We will get into the school in a minute. But you would look at a school like that with very little enrollment to begin with, and you'll be wondering, how did they get to such a point? But then that's the reality of most of the students these days, and it's extremely sad. Kelly says that while it is unclear whether the victims were targeted, Holly's attacks appear to be both random and targeted based on the number of rounds he fired. But don't worry, we will look at updates on this case and you will see that at the end of the day, whether it was targeted or random, it is not random that a kid who is 16-year-old, I swear the picture of this child, the child has acne on his face. He is barely coming into his teens. That used to be what we were bullied in school for, having acne. We were worried about how much acne is going to stress our lives. And now we are worried about kids walking into campuses with armory. Lord, help this generation. Help the new generation, because I don't know how you guys are going to do it. Look, if you have a kid who goes to school in America and they're not doing well, please have some grace for them. Have some grace. This kid is worrying every day if one of those weird kids walking around them might be one of those ones who will walk in with armory one of these days, hoping to delete a couple of them for no reason. And the thing that shocks me so much to my bones is that these kids are willing not only to hurt and delete their classmates and schoolmates, but they are willing to do it to themselves. These are the things that start making me feel like the MK Ultra program they allegedly ended did not allegedly end. Do you know how afraid teenagers are? A teenager could love someone, love a girl, love a boy, or be having such a crush on them, and you tell him you like him, and they would rather have the North Pole ice melt or solidify them before they say that word. But then you have now teenagers who are willing not only to bring armory, pick an armory, hold it, right? Walk into a school with it, delete not only their schoolmates and classmates, but also turn it on themselves. Do you know the mental gymnastics it takes for a kid to live from normal to that stage? Is there anyone who can understand? I'm talking as someone who is part of the educational system. I am an educator and I see kids all the time and I see the things they are so scared of. And it bothers me that kids are getting so bold that they are comfortable picking up an armor and bringing it to school. America, promised land. Authorities still do not know how Holly obtained the weapon, but say his family is cooperating with the investigation. Well, on Thursday, the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office received a warrant for Holly's phone, locker, and his family's home. Hopefully, we will be able to get everything that was contained in those things. But this is something that is ongoing, that is extremely strange, okay? I want us to look at Evergreen School. Let's look at the suspect first. These are a few things I would like us to look at. Kelly said that investigators have been in contact with Holly's parents who are being cooperative. Investigators searched the home, and while Kelly couldn't speak to exactly what was found, she said that they have learned that Holly appears to have been radicalized by some kind of extremist group, but then she did not elaborate and said what the motive is still. Kelly, when I'm talking about Kelly, I hope everybody knows I'm talking about the Jefferson Sheriff, Kelly. Okay, I hope that is clear. Kelly also said that while they aren't completely sure, they believe that Holly was shooting indiscriminately rather than targeting certain people. Now let's look at the motive. Kelly said during a news conference that Holly had been radicalized by some extremist network and suggested authorities came to the conclusion after examining the suspect's home and phone. But details on how he allegedly had been radicalized and by what group were not immediately released. Kelly said more information could be disclosed later on. Kelly said that Holly had a revolver of unknown caliber and quite a bit of ammunition. It's still unclear how many times Holly fired his weapon, but Kelly said that he reloaded many times. In addition to shooting at two fellow students who were hospitalized, Kelly also described the scene inside the school with lockers and windows shut out. Investigators are still working on figuring out how Holly got access to the weapon, Kelly said, and how he concealed it on his bus ride to school and for that morning before he began the shoot. The investigators still have to look into today and following days, including multiple crime scenes. The reason we have so many crime scene areas inside is because we have windows shut out. We have lockers that were shut up. We are finding spent rounds, unspent rounds. So it's a huge area, and the school, I was told, is in 3 levels. So, lot of work to be done. With assistance from the FBI and multiple local law enforcement agencies, Kelly said they are working to continue to process multiple crime scenes within and outside the school. They are looking to answer the following questions. How did the suspect get the Can they identify a motive? There is obviously a lot of work that has to go into looking at his phone, looking at his social media pages, searching his room, searching his backpack, Kelly said, searching his locker. There is a lot of places to look that we hope will give us better information as to what he was attempting to do and maybe the why. Let's take a look at Evergreen. Evergreen High School, like other Jeffco schools, has experienced some declining enrollment, but most recently enrolled over 900 students, according to the Colorado Department of Education. The school sits in the foothills amongst the pine trees. The school currently does not have a full-time school resource officer because the assigned officer was on medical leave, Kelly said. So there was a school resource officer that was assigned to multiple schools, including Evergreen High. Now, this is what is bothering me. I don't know if a school officer or a school resource officer is the same as a counselor, or is that somebody like a human resource? I don't know how this works in America. Please, someone, if you know how this is, let me know in the comments. And I don't know, so far I have not heard them mention anything about a school counselor, a school therapist, or somebody the students can talk to. Because in incidents like this, I know that yes, parents should have individual care of their kids, take their kids, talk to someone or talk to them themselves. But I think that this school needs to pay attention to the health of students as they resume schools there. It's going to be very difficult. Also, because it was lunchtime, some students ran away from the school seeking shelter in nearby homes, like we mentioned before, or in the library. And this is due to the fact that the school is extremely nice and the neighboring environment, the neighbors are very kind humans, and there are people who open their door to you if you need it. There is a little rumor ongoing. Some students on social media have shared that they believe they saw more than one. But Kelly said that investigation can say with 100% confidence that there was no second shooter. She said that there were cameras inside the school, which is very powerful and important for us in our investigation. We are able to track his movements throughout the school. Hopefully, the idea of multiple shooters is not true. I know that when kids are going through a traumatic event such as that, they could see things that are not there. But also, if the more investigation has been carried out, this is an updated post about this incident by the Denver Post. The 16-year-old boy who two students and then himself at Evergreen High School this week appeared to espouse white supremacist views online and showed an interest in mass in the days before the attack. Social media accounts have appeared to be connected to Desmond Holly are littered with references to mass pum-puming and anti-Semitic views, the Denver Post found. Jefferson County Sheriff's Officer spokeswoman Jackie Kelly on Thursday said Desmond had been radicalized through an extremist network, but declined to offer any additional details like we've discussed before. The public accounts offer some insight into what the radicalization might have included. In one photo posted on TikTok days ago, Desmond appeared to be wearing a black t-shirt with the word wrath written in red across the chest, similar to what one of the attackers wore in the 1999 massacre at Columbine High School, also in Jefferson County. The same post also includes an image of a 15-year-old who killed 2 people and injured 6 more at a Madison, Wisconsin school in December. A post on X about an hour before Wednesday's attack shows an image of a one hand holding a revolver, the type of weapon that authorities confirmed Desmond used during the attack. Representatives of the sheriff's office did not answer specific questions about the social media accounts. The accounts also include references to Holocaust denial, and the name of one of the accounts appeared to end with a reference to a prominent white supremacist slogan. That account reposted several videos showing school scenes from movies, as well as another video that appeared to show the Columbine's shooting, taking target shots at bowling pins. Other videos the account reposted were explicitly anti-Semitic and depicted people in Nazi uniforms. Sheriff officers on Thursday said Desmond shot 2 of his classmates, including 18-year-old Matthew Silverson, before taking the gun on himself. Desmond later died from a self-inflicted wound. Effects of the school having this very terrible incident. Evergreen High School will be closed for the rest of the week, Jefferson County Public Schools announced. Kelly said that the school needs aesthetic renovations before students can come back, including repairing broken windows, fixing lockers with bullet holes, and cleaning up fluids. Another 8 schools in the Conifer and Evergreen areas were also closed Thursday. Hundreds of members of the Evergreen community trickled into Buchanan park for a vigil on a cool, cloudy Thursday evening. People embraced, tears streaming down their faces as they recounted how the previous day's events impacted them. Some students had fled the school and had siblings who did. Other attendees were teachers, parents, and neighbors in the mountain towns who were looking for support during difficult times. Faith leaders took to the stage to pray and sing together, and Governor Jared Polis walked through the crowd, meeting with constituents who shared their grief with him. There is no answer for these kinds of horrific, violent acts, but we can find consolation in one another, Polis said. Together we will get through it. But Governor, respectfully, sir, I would like to disagree with you. Here, there is a solution to this. And this solution I know will not change who Holly was, will not change him from doing what he has done because it's already done, but it can stop future acts like this. The county, the entire state needs to look into what is going on. America needs to look into why its teenagers are turning into mass murderers. America needs to look into this situation because it is not normal for 16-year-olds to be thinking about picking up armory and deleting their classmates or schoolmates. They are thinking about crushes. They are thinking about the maths problem, English class. They're thinking about classes that are not going well. They're thinking about their neighbors. They're thinking about their classmates and schoolmates, whether they like them or whether they like them. That's what they're thinking about. It's not normal for students of this age to wake up, not only pick up an armory. How did they get it? That's a question you need to be fixing, because you cannot tell me that such horrific acts, there's no answer. There's an answer for it, sir. How do they have access to this? I was watching a video the other day with this lady of I Have Had It, and she was talking about vending machines for armory in another state where she lives.
Watch. What they're going to do after this is they're going to continue on the same path they always continue upon, which is more guns, more accessible all the time. In Oklahoma, where we live, they have vending machines with ammo in them in 7-Elevens and other type convenience store. I'm not sure if it's a 7-Eleven. I don't want to get that wrong, but like convenience stores, there are ammo.
Then America is shocked when kids who are 16 pick up armory. I don't understand what you want us to tell you. You are perpetuating the act yourself. You're doing this to the kids. You cannot promote a culture where children can pick them up if they feel like it, and then the next minute you're so shocked and you say there are solutions. Please. I want to wish the families who had to go through this terrible time and the kids who had to endure these horrific acts. So far, it has not been announced that any of the injured kids have passed away, which is such great relief. I've searched online, I'm recording this on Sunday, so maybe it'll be up on Monday. I've not found any information about any of them getting to a terrible state, which is really a wonderful relief. But there is still a better solution to this. We can ensure that kids go back to being kids, having crushes on their classmates, finding solutions to math problems, looking at which classmate of theirs likes them or which one they don't like, and having little gossips in class about which of their classmates is strange or weird, and wondering who is having a crush on who in class. Not children sitting down and wondering if one of their classmates is about to walk in and mass delete them. America has a problem. And that problem is them. The lawmakers who are at the top have made and fostered an environment where kids are no longer kids. Conspiracies running through my head when it comes to this. It's unbelievable. Are we sure MK Ultra ended? Because I don't know how a 16-year-old could live from normal to this state. How? How will a kid that's teen is the same like the 22-year-old who ended Charlie Kirk's life? How does a young man, how does a kid like that just move from one end of the spectrum to that? America, you have a problem. And that problem is included in your laws and decisions. So maybe if you turn them around a bit, something will change. Please let me know in the comment section if by now you think that both of these events are connected or not, because I think that they are both connected. This is a lot of access to weaponry, and it is costing American lives. It is costing American peace. It is costing American innocence. America, wake up. Until next time, bye.